Hey, this is Rachel from School Psyched Podcast. I'm going to talk about using Google Forms to monitor IEP goal progress. When I'm monitoring IEP goals, I tend to use a variety of data sources. I'll do observations, look at discipline referrals, therapy notes, just depending on what I'm measuring and what I'm looking at. But in addition to all those, I almost always use a Google form to get feedback from the teacher. And I'm going to show you how to do that really easily and how to quickly use the data that the teacher provides to put that into a graph. And really, you don't even need to put it into a graph because Google already does it for you. So it's really pretty simple once you get it set up and rolling. So here we go. I'm going to show you how to make one from scratch, but you can also, I've got a link for a template that you can download how to, monitor goal progress. I've got something like this right here, and if I pull this up, this will just, it's kind of a template on how to do that, but we'll go back here. When you're using Google Forms, you're going to go to forms.google.com. This is what's, this is going to be the main screen here. You'll be signed in with your own Google account. I'm going to make a blank form. Basically, I would give this to the teacher every week, just email them the link and say, hey, can you fill this out for me? And have them rate the student how they're doing on that particular goal on a scale from, 1 to 10 or whatever setup you want to use. So I might title this Johnny, goal progress. Google Forms is pretty easy to use. So it's basically, it's like making a survey here. So this first question, I can make it multiple choice. I can do a paragraph, a short answer, check boxes. I'm going to go right to the linear scale, and I'm going to put it from 0, let's say, to 10 is what I typically do. And I might say, how well is Johnny using positive statements to peers or something, whatever my goal is, on a scale from 1 to 10. And I might set as 0 as, never, he's never doing that, and 10 would be always, for example. And so that's going to put that up there. So that could be, my first question there. If I've got multiple goals, I might put that in there as well. It's really nice that you can duplicate. So if I've got a similar goal, I can create another one down here and then just tweak the wording slightly. You could insert a whole bunch of, fancy different stuff here, and I tend to keep it pretty simple. This would delete. Let's say, okay, so I also, when I'm asking for teacher input, I tend to, in addition to a scale of some sort, I might ask for a paragraph about, tell me something that Johnny did well this week. That way I can, for example, praise him on that and have the teacher type in their answer. And then I might do another one duplicating, tell me something that Johnny struggled with so that I can work with him on that in the session. I'm trying to think what else I put. And I might, up here you can do a description of the form and just explain that this form is helping me, know what I need to address in counseling sessions. It's helping me to monitor progress, and it's helping us communicate. And, it shouldn't be something that takes 10 minutes to fill out. It should be something that's taking, 1 minute or 2 minutes. I try not put too much burden on the teachers. So once I've created my form, I want to send it to the teacher. So here I'm going to the send box. You can email it. I go right to this link here. And I'm going to Control-C to copy that link. So what I do is I send the teacher an email, say, hey, fill this form for me. And I cut and paste that form link right into the email. It's always going to be the same link. So Google Forms are a live document. So say we have an IEP meeting and I change the goals. I can go into my Google form. I can change this, and it's still going to be the same link. It updates live. So that's pretty cool. You don't need to. So I might keep, a link saved or just re-forward the same email every week to the teacher. I might put a reminder in my calendar, on Fridays, I'm sending out my Google Forms to get my data. So I'm going to show you now how to take your responses that you'll get from the teacher, say, every week, on how your student's doing, and to put that easily and graph that. So here, if we go to responses, we're accepting responses here. This is Google Sheets. So Google Sheets is basically, I'm going to create Google's version of Excel. It's a little bit not as fancy as Excel. It's a little bit more basic, but you can certainly take the data and cut and paste it right into Excel. So this would be where my data is going to go. And as you can see, this is really easy to graph from here. But for example, I'm going to go back here. I'm going to do a little sample here. So this is our preview button, and you can, change different colors and different, you can make it pretty. I'm kind of more boring. Or color code, to remind yourself what student you're working on. But see, I'm going to go to preview. So this is the form that the teacher would see with that link. So let's just fill out, I'm going to go back actually. This is a good example here. And look at, and notice that I can switch the order of my questions. But I'm going to put in a date option, because that helps me with my graphing. So date, and there is actually a date option right there that they can put in, or you can just have, short answer and have them type in a date. But let's go back here. Let's say that they filled it out. Okay, there's the date. All right, now I'm going to go back to my preview. So as you can see, here's the date. So say I'm the teacher and I'm filling it out, and we filled it out on the 18th, and Johnny's got a 3. Kind of struggled that week. Let's submit that. I'm going to submit another response. Let's see, we're filling it out on 22nd. It doesn't have to be every week. I tend to do every week, but I'll say Johnny got a 5. Submit. I'm just going to create one more data point. And so we're filling it out on the 25th, and we're up to a 9. Submit. Okay, so now we have some data to actually work with, so I can show you kind of how this goes. So going back to my Google Sheet here, as you can see, the data has been entered in. Now you can have multiple teachers. If you've got different subject teachers, filling things out, you can have a name section. So you can sort and organize by name and teacher. You can put them all together. Excel savvy people, I'm sure you guys know how to do this a lot more than I do. But say, for example, so these are our goal ratings. I might take, just to highlight this a little more. So these are the dates. These are the ratings. I'm going to Control V. I'm going to put that in there. And this might be goal 1. Say, for example, I've got 2 goals. So 4, 5, 6, just to show you a graph with 2 different goals going on. So here I can highlight there. I can go to Insert, Chart. Should come up. And you've got a couple different options to go with. I tend to, you can do, scatter plots. I tend to just do lines. And you can just, basically, you can see and eyeball this and pull this up every week or so and see what direction your data is going in. I tend to show up to IEP meetings with the graph in hand, and I think that parents really like that. But you can just keep it really simple like this, and then you can use like a snipping tool or a screenshot to cut and paste this into a Word document. You can send this home with IEP progress reports. You can tweak it a little bit and get it a little bit fancier with, customization. So we might give this a title, Johnny's Progress, and that'll go right in there. You can mess with the legend and where the legend's at. You can mess with the font, make it smooth. So let's title our horizontal axis as date, and we'll do our vertical axis is, rating. You can have minimum and maximum. So say I want 0 to 10. I want that to show up, and say I want grid lines, major grid lines every, for 10 for every rating there. So I can put that in. Trying to see what else. You can do trend lines. So you can see, if there's a positive trend, if they're anticipated to make their goal based on the teacher ratings. It's pretty self-explanatory. So here's a trend line. Let's put that in, show you how, that's looking. So you can make adjustments here. Excel has even more options than what you're able to do in Google Sheets. So you can have fun. But basically, it's just a time saver. I struggle with how to monitor my goals. I want to write goals that are measurable and easily measurable, so I'm not, following the kid around with a clipboard trying to get data every time we're approaching the progress report time. So this just helps a lot. You have the teacher quickly fill it out, scale from 1 to 10. The data goes straight into the Google Sheets, and you can highlight it and graph it, no problem, print it out. It looks nice and professional. You can cut and paste it into evaluations to show how they're doing. So that's pretty much it. I want to show, so like to go back to your main screen on Google Forms, if I were to go back here. So here's my form, and I didn't give it a name. I could do that up over here. So it's going to be, yep, there goes Johnny. And then you can save that. So I might have a whole bunch of forms for all my different kids that I'm monitoring, and every Friday I'm sending them out, forwarding them to the appropriate teachers. And I just like it. But let me know what you think in the comment section. Thank you.